Yo, Destiny here. I wanted to come and talk to you about this beautiful month of May that we sit in. So, May is National Masturbation Month. May is also Women's Health Month. It is also Teen Self Esteem Month. And it is also the month where we celebrate mothers. So, you have a lot of this self esteem building, feminine celebrations happening all around us this month. But I want to focus on women's health, especially connected to sexuality. So, as being a mother of five, a doula, been working in the community in South LA for many, many years, a lactation peer counselor. I've been a service coordinator. I'm currently a community health worker, like I'm in the community talking about health. And I often come in contact with women. And I find that women, particularly women of color, specifically black women, African American women, are very disconnected from their sexuality. A lot of times, this is because they're tethered to some type of religion that does not give them permission to really explore themselves sexually. They are taught that sex is meant for procreation, not for pleasure, not for entertainment. They are not taught about the magic of an orgasm, whether you're having it alone or with a partner. They're not taught to learn how to figure out their pleasure centers and figure out what they like and how to please themselves and then teach that to someone else. They are taught to let someone else teach them how to feel good versus learning how they feel and what makes and what feels good to them and then sharing that knowledge to those that they choose. So it's a lot of really strange mixed messages here, especially with black people, African Americans being heavily influenced by religion. We find that there is this disconnect from free sexual expression, but then you also have high levels of molestation, you have high levels of rape, you have high levels of infidelity, you have high levels of unhealthy sexual practices within these religious sectors. You also see that black women, when they are free to express themselves sexually, they are often put under this microscope and they are scrutinized and there are they are chastised, they are called names that are demeaning, they are put down. But at the same time, when you look at hip hop culture or even just regular mainstream media, the black woman's body is over sexualized. So there's like this really interesting tug of war happening between what a black woman is. Is she sexy or is she wrapped up and a prude? Or is she free and voluptuous and letting her ass hang out and her titties hang out and doing, whatever to get the attention of a male gaze? So I think these two contradicting perspectives of the black woman create this really interesting message that goes out into the world and specifically penetrating the minds of the black female. So I struggled with that as well, even in my own relationship with my partner, who I've been with for 15 years. Things that come up with me as far as like my sexuality and my self expression and me overcoming trauma that I experienced as a young lady, but then also understanding that all the trauma that comes up when I'm having these intimate moments with my partner isn't always just mine. So when we understand epigenetics and how we have inherited the experiences We have inherited sometimes debilitating behavior patterns from our ancestors. Things begin to surface, and we may not really understand why it is so hard to push past certain things, especially when it comes to our intimate relationships. So, when I began to try to overcome these things, these patterns, these issues that just kept resurfacing, I came up with a program that I call Yoni Gonomics. So Yoni, Yoni, like Yoni, your vagina, your pussy, your portal, your pleasure center, and Conomics. So Conomics, Yoni Gonomics, the currency of the vagina, the currency of the pussy. Currency is money, currency is energy, currency is what you put out. So our vaginas are these amazing portals of life and pleasure. But that life and pleasure doesn't just belong to our partners, it belongs to us first. It belongs to us first. So, exploring your own body, finding what makes you feel good is important. You can do this by yourself in isolation, or you can do it in the presence of your partner without your partner touching you, but just watching you explore your own body, finding out what feels good to you. And if you want to invite them in, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. You're reclaiming your autonomy as a woman and your sexuality and your pleasure as being something that can be just yours. It does not have to be shared if you do not want to share it. And I know that is like mind boggling for some people to really wrap their minds around. But I think that this is an important conversation for us to have as females, as women, as human beings on this planet who have been constantly taught that our pleasure is something that belongs to another. And that is not true. It belongs to us first, and then we can choose to share it. So, I have made a promise to myself to do 30 days of content sharing on my YouTube channel. And so, I'm going to start doing some Yoniconomics exercises beginning tomorrow. But before I do that, I invite you on this journey of getting to know yourself. And one thing that you can first do is start with a food journal. Food is very important to our development as women. When we're taught about women, even in women's studies and sex education and all these other classes that we take, at least the ones that I have taken, they have never taught how food is very important to your vaginal health. It is very important to your hormones. It is very important for your mood stabilization. Food is very important to your existence and your health as a human and also as a female human. So, what I invite you to do is begin to keep a journal for 21 days, which is normally the cycle of your period. So, when you eat something, just write it down and then write if it changes your mood. If you notice after you ate that piece of cake, you got a little irritable, or if when you had that quesadilla, you got irritable, or when you drank whiskey for 5 days in a row, your vagina got dry. Just really pay attention to what you're eating and how it is affecting you. And I mean like everything, like your skin gets scaly, your vagina gets dry, you get irritable, your body odor changes, your scalp start itching. Like write down every sensation that you feel, from physical changes, physiological changes, hormonal changes, mood changes. Just write it all down. Like the more descriptive you can be, the better it is for you to really pinpoint how food is affecting you and your femininity and your sacred spaces, as I like to call them. Second, I invite you to also do a meditation for these 21 days. So during this time, I also invite you to do a meditation. Your time, however long you can do it, is up to you. All of our lives are different. Some of us have multiple children, some of us are still working, some of us have just a lot of different projects going on. So, and some of us already have a meditation time where we meditate, so this will be easy for you. So, do just a small meditation, and after your meditation is over, whether you do it for 10 minutes or an hour, after your meditation is over, write down anything that comes up for you. And I mean anything, anything. Just write it down so you can recognize also what's happening in your mind. Write down the time of day that you did your meditation, the length of time that you did your meditation, and then reflect on what came up after your meditation. Those are the two things that I invite you to do. Recognizing how food affects you, as well as how meditation affects you, as tools to keep you balanced as you navigate this plane, this realm. Um, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. So when we talk about masturbation and women's health and self-esteem of our teenagers' self-esteem a lot of times is a direct reflection of our self-esteem, especially the mother-daughter, father-son dynamic. So the more that we fall in love with ourselves, the better chance we have in teaching our daughters and teaching our sons how to fall in love with themselves. So strengthening our own personal relationship, and that's mental, spiritual, physical, sexual, financial, strengthening those relationships within ourselves reflects upon our children, our nieces, our nephews, our cousins. They can feel that. So we want to build that within ourselves and then also share that. On tomorrow, I will see you all when we do our first Yoniconomics exercise, where we begin to move through some of this stagnant energy using movement, using sound to help break through some of the stuff that we're carrying, to move through this stagnant energy, to activate the light body within us, and to encourage us to keep going inward and to move forward in this realm with more balance and more grace. So check out the video tomorrow. It will be up on my YouTube channel. I hope that you continue to persevere, continue to be blessed, and continue to keep reaching high.